Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, and I am here joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who has apparently been taking selfies with Grimbold in the time since I last left him, which is a totally understandable thing for him to want to do. So Gryfflet is going to return to Curunír now. He's got some more business to take care of up there, but it's all good. So so today is going to be probably a very lore question heavy kind of day, because at least for the beginning, Gryfflet is going to be running around killing things as I've got to do those other quests up there. So let's without further ado, let's get to it here, Gryfflet, shall we? Okay. Yeah, Aslan's compass, exactly. We're on dwarf time. We start when the important person arrives. That's exactly how I operate. I saw a couple of you making jokes about that when we were talking about it. So the reference for those of you who don't get it. So we were just doing the Silmarillion film project right before that, which is why I'm inevitably late. Well, that's one of the reasons that I'm late half of the time. But anyhow, so today we're doing the Silm Film project, and basic concept of the Silm Film project, we're going through the we're planning out episode by episode a film adaptation, or a sequential episodic TV show, like Amazon basically stole our idea of the Silmarillion from the very beginning to the very end. This was essentially inspired by the Hobbit movies. Inspired in the sense of, like, we were like so convinced that we could obviously do it better than Peter Jackson that we were like, why, let's do that. So let's see. Is this a goblin? Does a good dude count? No, you don't count. Okay, so we're have to go anywhere along here. All right, so anyway, so this is how the Silm Film project started. Today we're doing our reviews of the I'm going over. So we're almost at the end of season 3, which takes us right through the capture of Maedhros and the rising of the sun and moon. So we're doing our review of the episode outlines. As I go through the show, I talk about so my team and I talk about major issues in these episodes as we're planning them out, and we kind of think through the big ideas, but we don't script them or anything during the podcast episodes live. But we have an awesome team of people who get together and do outlines of the actual scripts. Not full scripts, but who do outlines episode by episode. So at the end of the season, after we've talked our way through all 13 episodes of the season, and we've gotten to the end, we go back and we read the outlines that were made by the outlining team, and see what we think of the work that they've done. So anyway, so that's kind of where we are. And today we were talking about, we ended up talking about the dwarves, and the main concept that I was thinking, that I was really interested in thinking about, was the concept of time, because we had an issue with, like, they were supposed to meet the elves in a particular spot, and they didn't meet them, and like they felt, and so we got to the question of, like, well, how would dwarves tell time, and in fact, would they even care about time telling, because there's no sun, there's no moon, so there's no passing of seasons. They probably don't go outside much at all. So even if the stars move, again, they're not going to even really notice that all that very much. So how would dwarves think about time? They're not going to count hours. Why would they count hours? So we're like, what is the basic unit of dwarf time, and how would they kind of construct all that within their culture? It was really fun. It was really interesting. So, anyway, this was a really cool sort of session. But it's a great project if you really want, if you are interested in the opportunity to really kind of think yourself into the Silmarillion, to really get familiar with the characters and with the you know, the whole sort of world and concept of these stories. It's such a fun, creative project. I've really enjoyed it. Anyway, so... oh, nice. I got to him before my my crit chain wore out from the previous fight. That's fairly efficient. Oh, the Warg Riders don't count as wargs. They only count as goblins. Oh, well. That's okay. I know where there's plenty of wargs. Like here, there's one. Cool. So, all right, let's see. Okay, all right, we got a bunch of lore questions. So let's jump into it. So we got some from last week that we didn't get to. Okay, oh, come on. I wasn't going to attack you. So Pontine was asking, which came first, the name Moria or the name Khazad-dûm? And the answer to those, okay, it depends on your point of view, right? As so, if you're thinking from Tolkien's point of view, Moria came first, because you'll remember this started as the Mines of Moria. It's mentioned in The Hobbit, right? Thorin mentions the Mines of Thorin and Gandalf talk about the Mines of Moria, where Azog the Goblin was fought and everything, right? You know, so that's old. That's from The Hobbit, and the concept of, you know, that these Mines of Moria are actually the long lost halls, ancestral halls of the House of Durin and stuff like that's a later conception that grows out of it. Originally, the Mines of Moria they're just mines, you know. So presumably, I mean, that's what he calls them, and there's no clear sense that there's anything else that really lies behind that. So. From within Tolkien's framework, that came first. The name Khazad-dûm did exist, but I still think it postdates The Hobbit. The Hobbit is written in the years leading up to between 1928 and 1930, right around in there. So even though the name Khazad-dûm does first come about is used in a Silmarillion context, as I recall, I think it's one of the dwarf strongholds rather, in the Blue Mountains. But still, that postdates The Hobbit. So he invented the name Moria before he invented the name Khazad-dûm. However, from inside the frame of Middle Earth, the name Khazad-dûm definitely comes first, because Moria is a nickname, and an unflattering nickname, a deliberately unflattering nickname. Moria is just called it's the Black Pit, and it's what the elves come to call Khazad-dûm after it falls. So after Durin's Bane emerges, then you get the concept of Moria, the Black Pit, and it's not only it's kind of scathing, actually. It's designed to be, I don't know, you almost get the sense that, like, the elves kind of always thought of it as the Black Pit, right? But now it's like the Black Pit in truth, or in more than one sense. So yeah, it's so that name definitely comes second, but you can see evidence that Tolkien thought of it as Moria first, that the concept of Moria came first in Tolkien's creation, right? There is absolutely certain and hard evidence of that, in that the inscription on the arch of Moria calls it Moria, right? Remember the gates of Moria? The word Moria is carved into the arches, as should not be. That's a mistake. That's a chronological error by Tolkien, and one that was that I never noticed until it was pointed out to me by a 10-year-old. But there it is, a brilliant 10-year-old, by the way, not my son. I'm not praising my own child. This happened live for those of you who attended. This was in the webathon, our fundraising webathon last fall. it was I was doing a Q&A session with Maggie, the brilliant 10, or maybe she's 11 now, I think. I still need 7 more of those wargs, man. Okay. Oh, seriously? I've cleaned out the... Sorry? All right, I'll keep going. Anyway, I was doing a Q&A with her, and her first question was, why does it say Moria on the gates? And I was just like, I'd never noticed that in my entire life. Anyway, yeah, that was she is awesome. But anyway, but like I said, it's proof. You can see he thought of it first, because when he did the inscription, right, when he wrote the Elvish inscription and made that illustration, he originally thought of it as Moria. So the most likely it wasn't just a slip, in the sense that he had already come up with the whole story and he just like made a mistake and named it Moria. It's probably from the concept that the name Moria came later had not yet really entered in. So. And of course, as always happens when you're doing quests of this kind, bounty quests, I need goblins and wargs, and now that I'm done with the goblins, they're everywhere. Right? It always happens to you, doesn't it? Anyway, so those are the answers. It's a fairly simple question and a relatively simple answer, but it's a little bit complicated for all that. Okay, let's see. Let me continue here. Okay, so Finnboga had asked this question at least last time, possibly the time before. I don't understand the candles of corpses in the Dead Marshes. Okay, great question. Is there a suggestion that some souls are being held here instead of going direct to Mandos? Souls of evil men in Sauron's army? What are the candles? Okay. I don't understand the candles either. Candles of corpses, we're told. What exactly does that mean? I don't see... Let me say it like this. I don't see any reason to believe that the souls of the dead people are involved there. We see their images. Only images to see, not to touch, as Gollum says. We see the lights, but neither one of those things proves or even very strongly suggests to me that the souls of those dead persons are captive there or remaining there or something. And there's certainly strong negative evidence that they do not. Negative evidence is, of course, like the evidence based on something that is not there, right? And what we don't see are any agency, right? Like, we never, like, interact with a ghost, in the Dead Marshes. Nobody says anything or appears to react to anything. There's no evidence that there's a conscious mind or will involved at all anywhere with any of the dead folks in the Dead Marshes. That by itself is enough to suggest to me that we're not talking about the souls of anything here. So, again, does that prove it by itself? No, negative evidence is very weak proof. But besides that, we have the. Again, I don't see any positive reason to believe, any other reason that there are souls involved there. Neither the images nor the lights. Between the two of them, the images actually are the ones that would sort of potentially suggest the lights more. Let me work my way back here. I'm a long ways off now. Yeah, okay. The glowy lights, like the candles of corpses, I don't see much strong reason to connect those to souls. The images a little bit more closely. I mean, there's a certain similarity between the images of the dead people that they see beneath the water and you know, the like dead, like the spirits of the dead that they encounter in the, like at the Paths of the Dead, you know. So there's some kind of connection there, or some kind of similarity there. But again, I don't see. Remember, the dead, even though they're only sort of ghostly images that we see, they act. You know, they respond to the call of Aragorn. They come and they speak. You know, Aragorn talks to them. You know, Oathbreakers, why have ye come? And they answer. So, I don't see any reason to think that they're still alive. So now, this still leaves the question: what are they then? Right, and how did they get there? Why are there images of the dead there? And I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know. Why are they there? Is this some contrivance of the enemy? A question which is not really answered, right? In the text. I don't... Frodo seems to suggest that they might not be contrivances of the enemy. Like they don't fill him with horror. They look sad. If Sauron put them there, why did he put them there? And if he didn't put them there, how did they get there? Right? It doesn't seem like a work of the enemy. Oops, sorry. There's me not looking at my mini map. It doesn't look like a contrivance of the enemy. It doesn't act like a contrivance of the enemy. You know, it doesn't feel foul enough, right? So I don't know. Darn it, I'm one warg shy. Fine, I'll go in here rather than hunting around the landscape forever. Exactly, Phil, you were thinking exactly the same thing. They don't feel foul enough. Yes, they don't feel foul enough. You'd think if these were like ghostly necromantic images that were summoned up by Sauron, or even some kind of side product, right? You know, some kind of side effect or byproduct of Sauron's work, that they'd have some kind of ring wraith-ish sort of effect on people, right? They'd fill you with fear and horror. They don't exactly do that. So I don't think they are. So then what are they? Spontaneous remembrances, right? That the dead marshes have grown and swallowed up the graves, as Smeagol says. So why does this have the effect of showing their faces? Marielle, that's exactly what I was just about to say, that it seems more like something like a land memory, like the land has not forgotten. Thinking in Lotro terms, it's almost like the what's it called? Lone Lands, Gartha Garwin, the whole Red Woman thing, the Red Maiden quest line, how the land is affected by the shedding of blood. There it's twisted, right? You know, like that goldberry, that sibling of goldberries is tormented and twisted by the shedding of blood near her there. The idea that the land here too also remembers the battle, but is kind of commemorating it in a different kind of way. Zach, I agree that the way that Peter Jackson depicted them, they look almost exactly like the wraiths, right? And it even seems to be reaching out for the ring. They don't. That's not how they. It's not only not how they act. It's not how they. It's not how they make Frodo feel, right? Okay, all right, Andor, no problem. Happy to help.
Greetings, traveler.
I hope I have made non-Curunír a safer place for everybody. What next? Top dog. Okay.
Greetings, traveler.
Mangle Maw. Okay. Great. So, what do? I have to issue a challenge to Mangle Maw. I have to beat a bunch of them, and okay. So go to the Circle of Fangs. Got it. That's kind of where I was, right? Yeah, no problem. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So Zach, yeah, I would attempt to fight. In fact, it's funny, Zach, until you brought it up just then, I had almost forgotten about the film depiction of the images in the Dead Marshes. But yeah, that's very Wraith-like, much more so than in the film. Frodo explicitly repudiates the oh, look, there's Mangle Maw. Can I just go over and kill her? Do I have to kill everybody else first? Do I have to unstealth myself first? Here I am! Can I just... Do I have to... What's meant to happen here? Hi, so how do I challenge you? Do I just come over here and fight you? Hang on. I'm going to fight this one over here first. No? I can't? No. Oh. Okay. Here I am, remaining. I defy you. Can I... What do I have to do to challenge Mangle Maw? Hi. Do I have to taunt her? Your mother was a hamster. I'm remaining. Oh, okay, I can talk to her. Hi. Mangle Maw. I'm right over here. Don't you? Yeah, that's me. Right here. Trying to ride Mangle Maw. If I mount you, will that tick you off? Can I tickle you under the chin? Yeah, I thought the wargs were supposed to attack me too. Well, this dude is going to attack me. But that's totally unrelated. Okay, wargs. He'll show you how it's done. Did I confuse it by being stealthed? Okay. Here, I'll go out and come back in again. Here we go. Okay. Now approaching Mangle Maw's den. We're backing away. Okay, they disappeared. Here we go. Boldly he strides. There she emerges again. All right, we're emerging. Some warg is going to step forward and take action here. Oh. Okay. Yeah, see, they must have just... I was too stealthy and confused them there. Okay. All right. Whew. All right. All right. I'll come in again. That's exactly what I was thinking, Phil. Yeah, exactly. All right. All right, and now you. That's good. This is going so well now, guys. We have this all coordinated. Okay. That's good. Strong work. There we go. Now, oh, another one? Okay. Excellent. Let's see, let me get another war question here. So, let's see. Okay. Let me see. Steenbrink just asked a question about the staves of the Astari. Okay, what are the staves of the Astari? What are they what are they made, and what is their power exactly? So that's pretty unclear. Staves of the Astari are really interesting because, all right, let's start not at the beginning but at the end with Saruman and the breaking of Saruman's staff, right? So it's clear that when Gandalf says to Saruman, Saruman, your staff is broken, it is an outward representation of Sauron's authority being destroyed, right? He casts him from the Order and from the Council, and then says, Saruman, your staff is broken. And so it's like he is rendering outward the thing that he has already done. By saying, you know, you have no color now, and I cast you from the Order and the Council, it's done, right? So the breaking of the staff would seem to be a symbolic thing, right? You know, kind of like when they punch out Mr. Banks's hat in Mary Poppins, kind of like that. You know, a symbolic gesture to say you've been fired from the company. It doesn't, that scene by itself would not seem to imply that the staff of Saruman had intrinsic magical abilities or magical power sort of stored in it, right? Or else the sundering of the staff would have been more explosive than that. And we have good reason. We have positive evidence to suggest that breaking the staff of Saruman would have caused a big ol' explosion from earlier on, because of course that happens to Gandalf earlier. So at the end, when Gandalf breaks Saruman's staff in The Lord of the Rings, it seems fairly clear that the staff of the wizard is an important symbol, but primarily symbolic. The staff remains an instrument used within the magic of the wizards all the way through The Lord of the Rings. Gandalf is employing his staff, right, for various purposes as part of the magic that he does. But it's not that the staff is itself magical, you know, in the sense that it has magical properties that could be quantified within the game, right? So okay. Now, Gandalf, yeah, the changing of Gandalf's staff and stuff, that's a film thing. I don't think there's any reference to Gandalf's staff being different when he comes back from the dead. Nor do I think yeah. Now, but keep in mind, like I said, it is still an instrument of his magic. He uses his staff when he, with Theoden, right, in the Golden Hall. So when he comes in and Grima is like, that fool Hama has betrayed us. Did I not counsel you to deny him his staff? By letting Gandalf in with his staff, Hama has betrayed them, right? Now, Grima might be wrong about that. Like, this might be part of a misunderstanding on Grima's part. Did Gandalf need his staff? Could he have not done what he did if he did not have his staff? That seems to me kind of going a little bit too far.
I would be right
I don't think that we have... Oh, dear. Where's the Master of Beasts? Is he in the cave? Yeah. Yeah, he's in the cave. Okay. Where's the Master of Beasts? Anyway, yeah, so Gandalf having his staff seems to be significant, but here, see, all right. Again, what I come back to, there's no question that Gandalf uses his staff. To what extent is it essential to his power? Having started at the end, let me jump to the beginning. This is just the breeding place of the Wargs, isn't it? There's no... The Master of Beasts is elsewhere. This is just where, like, the Mama Warg lives, right? And everything. So this place is chock full of Wargs, but there's no... The Beastmaster is elsewhere. Yeah, there's the Black Matron, right? Yeah, okay. All right, it's the Mama Warg. That's what I thought I remembered. Okay, all right. So the breaking of Saruman's staff appears to be largely symbolic. Let's go back to Let's go back earlier on to The Hobbit and the immediate aftermath of The Hobbit. In The Hobbit, Gandalf's staff seems to be relatively heavily involved in his magic. Lightning comes out of the end of, like, or blue flashes of light, which at least make Bilbo think of lightning, right? In his struck by lightning comment. So this is okay. Wait, that's the cooks. So the Beastmaster's somewhere up on the north side. It seems, as I said, the magic, comes sort of more directly out of Gandalf's staff. Oh, I forgot to stealth myself again. The most interesting piece of evidence about Gandalf's staff, which shows how Tolkien was thinking, at least at the beginning, or in these early stages, comes in the first drafts of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm chapter. So this is still quite early on, not the very beginning of, but still quite early on in the process of writing The Lord of the Rings. And it is clear, very clear at that point, that Gandalf's power, much of Gandalf's power, is stored in the staff. When Gandalf breaks his staff on the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, it explodes and breaks the bridge because he is deliberately releasing the sort of stored energy that is in his staff. Like, that's completely the concept that's explicitly the concept of the breaking of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. So, is he up here? I don't remember who is up here. Oh, yeah, this is him. That's him. Okay, good. So there, the staff has a very sort of mechanical function in its connection with his power. His power is literally stored within the staff, and can be sort of released in this catastrophic discharge, which breaks the bridge and takes, him and the Balrog down to the depths. But is Tolkien still thinking that way when he does the final draft of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm? Is that what we're really getting there? I am not at all convinced that that's still how he is thinking about that entire business by the time we get there. So, hey there, Master of Beasts, would you not run away, please? I came a long way to come get you. Thank you. What have you got on your head? Is that just your face? Oh, I think it is. Yeah, so you're a big goblin, actually. Not an orc at all. I took you for an orc originally, but I see now I was wrong about that. Right. So, Steen, yes, it does mean that Gandalf beats the Balrog without his staff once it's broken, and that's a big deal. Yes, yes. So, yep. So again, beginning, his staff, like his power, there is power in the staff. Like the staff is an actual magical item in Tolkien's mind. You know, does that mean it's like a found magical item? That is, does part of Gandalf's power derive from the fact that he happens to be the one wielding this staff? Or is it rather that Gandalf's own power, his own native power, is stored within the staff, so that the staff is still, it's an extension of him, it's an instrument of his, rather than a you know, an exterior source of additional power. I would say the latter. It sounds to me like Tolkien is thinking of this not as Gandalf is just a regular dude who happens to have found a magic stick, right? And that's what makes Gandalf special. Even in the old days when Gandalf is really primarily a professional magician, or a professional wizard, you know, he's a guy who's a professional wizard. Nevertheless, he still is a professional wizard, right? The power is still his power, but the staff is an instrument. He uses it to make fireworks. He uses it to make like the blue glow that comes out. He does other things with it. He stores his own power in it. It's still his power that's stored in it. But again, by the time we get to Saruman, if Saruman had been storing his own power in his staff, again, like we would have a massive concussion when Gandalf breaks his staff. So that's clearly not the case anymore. And now the explosion that comes at the breaking of the bridge with the Balrog is no longer just like the automatic discharge of stored magical potential energy that has been, encased within Gandalf's staff. That's no longer the case anymore. It's just, it is the sundering of the bridge seems to be a thing that Gandalf is doing with his own power, using his staff as a weapon. And the breaking of his staff when he... the breaking of his staff at the bridge of Khazad-dûm seems to me, again, by the time we get there in the final version, to be not a mechanical device, but rather another symbolic moment, right? Gandalf's staff shattering when he strikes the bridge and breaks the bridge under the feet of the Balrog is a symbol of his own self-sacrifice, right? It is his power and his authority. He is expending his strength in order to take the Balrog down, and it does end up dragging him down with it too, right? So just as he is able to break the staff of Saruman in this sort of symbolic moment in order to signify outwardly that his authority is broken, Gandalf's staff breaking on the bridge of Khazad-dûm becomes this sort of symbol of him expending all of the energy. Remember, he was already tuckered out, right? He said he was really tired. He was spent. He needs to, his power needs to go up again. His blue line was down to 0 after the whole conflict with the Balrog at the door at the top of the stairs, right? So he's expending everything he's got left, pretty much everything he's got left, right, in breaking the bridge, and thus his staff breaks again to sort of signify that. Anyway, so. And Steen, I don't remember any reference to staves being made. That there's never any hint that the staffs themselves are artifacts in the sense of, they were once made in ancient days by Fëanor or something like that. Or we don't get anybody with it. Nobody has a magic staff until the wizards come around. So again, I don't think these are ancient artifacts. They're instruments of. They're tools of the trade of the professional wizards, right, when they come in. So again, talked about the beginning, talked about the end, so let's go back to the middle. Let's go back to Theoden in the Golden Hall. So why does Gandalf sneak his staff into the Golden Hall? Why is it a big deal? How big a deal is it that Hama lets him keep it? And is Grima right to think that the the downfall of all of his plans in Rohan, comes about? The immediate cause of it is Hama letting Gandalf bring his staff into the hall. Because again, just because he says it doesn't mean it's true, right? He could be under the impression that Gandalf's staff is a magic stick that contains his power, and he might be wrong about that. Again, when I ask myself the question bluntly, if Gandalf did not have his staff, would he be capable of, doing what he does with Theoden? I gotta say yes. I can't imagine Gandalf would be like, I do not have my stick. I am thwarted, right? I don't think that that's going to happen. Does he use his staff? Yes. Is the staff in the hands of a wizard more than a prop for age? Yes, it is more than a prop for age. It is still an instrument of his craft. He still uses it. But is his power contained in it? If you take his staff away, is he much weaker? Is he incapable of doing these other things? I can't answer yes to those questions. That doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing to keep in mind, it's his name, Gandalf. Gandalf mean the Alf part of Gandalf's name means elf. Gand means wand or staff. So the literal translation of Gandalf's name is staff elf. He's given that name eventually because it fits him, right? Because he is like this, it's like a name that's given to, remember the name is given to him by men in the north, right? So, like to people, not to elves who call him Mithrandir, to non-elves, he looks like they assume he's some like elvish, there's something uncanny about him, right? There's like magic, so they're like, he's an elf probably, right? So his name has elf, so he's like the staff elf. He goes around with a staff in his hand. So his staff is a defining element of his identity, right? So it's obviously important, but is it independently magical? No. Is it an ancient artifact which is imbued with power from of old? No. Is it carved with runes on which is contained? No. Is it, again, would he be helpless without it? No. Again, but it's an instrument of his craft, and I do think Hama is correct. A staff in the hand of a wizard is more than a prop for age. It is more than a prop for age. It is a symbol of his authority, or at least that becomes the primary usage of it in some ways in the story. But the old usage, the old Hobbit role of the staff as tool of wizard never totally goes away. Yeah. Anyway, okay, cool. Great. Master of Beasts is gone. Hooray! Oh, let's see. A rider's sturdy waistcoat. Huh? Oh, let's take a look at this. Ah, that looks kind of sturdy. I didn't really want to zoom in on my groin, actually. There we go. Now I'm zooming in on my feet. That doesn't really help. Okay. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to do. It's kind of attractive. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Is it good armor? Oh, it's even kind of an upgrade. Oh, it's might based though. That's disappointing. Elegant silk boots. How elegant are we talking here? I don't know. They look a little stumpy. That's not exactly elegant. I was hoping for embroidery or something. I don't know. I mean, look at my regular boots. Okay, my regular boots are quite plain. They're the Dunedain boots, but still. A spiky bracelet? Was Gryfflet going to go goth there? I don't think so. No. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the waistcoat in case I want to use it cosmetically. All right. Very good. Expanded dressing room? Okay, I don't even really know what you're talking about. Actually, I think I do know what you're talking about. I don't know how to do that. But I feel like I've already taken so many steps over to like the cosmetic side. I guess I might as well go the whole way. Anyway, okay, Captain of Fangs. Oh, good. In the stockade, the Captain of Fangs, defeat him. Okay. All right, Ondor, I'm just happy to help you solve your problems. That's really... I feel like I'm doing good here in non-Curunír. Ooh, I stealthed myself just in time. Okay, so we'll head up to the stockade, and we will go in, and we will find the Captain of Fangs, and we will destroy him. Okay. Hey, no problem, Steen. That was fun to think about. Let's see. Let's see. Hang on, Ethelwad. I'm not sure I'm following your questions. Okay, so... Yeah, I know that a lot of people will think of, do tend to think of, I mean, it's very natural, especially when you're approaching it from a role, you know, an RPG standpoint, right? To be thinking of Gandalf's staff as a magical item, right? But that seems to me the one thing that it's fairly clear that the staff is not, and never was, really. I mean, it was never an artifact, you know, like a found artifact that Gandalf utilizes, even in ways which, like Andúril, obviously is a magic sword. Even Sting is obviously a magic sword. It has powers that are not native to the wielder. Now, with Andúril, you could say that some of Andúril's power is native to the wielder, obviously. But again, it's not anything intrinsic in Bilbo that makes the sword so inimical to goblins, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's very clear. But again, obviously, I can understand how it would come about that a video game adaptation of Wizards end up having, you know, like the lore master staves that we get in Lotro, right? Very natural. I mean, it's hard to avoid that kind of thing when you're, you know, working within this system. Okay. But I'm not sure I'm understanding the wording, Ethelwad, of your final questions. Do I think the movies have overdone the scene? What do I think of what the movies have done with the scene with the Bridge of Khazad-dûm in specific, I think? Thinking of the Peter Jackson adaptation of the... Let's see, how close am I here? I'm getting there. Think of the Peter Jackson adaptation of the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. They did a great job. I love the Bridge of Khazad-dûm in the Peter Jackson version. And yes, I don't even get all like verklempt about the wings of the Balrog. I have always understood why... Oh, hang on. There's like a huge spider descending right here in front of my face. Hi there. So okay, it's not that huge. Hi there, little spider. This happens occasionally. I get these little spiders down here. I'm in my basement. And they will sometimes descend right there, sometimes on my head, sometimes right in front of my face. Which never fails to be a little bit alarming. But anyhow, okay. Sorry. As I said, I have always understood why visual artists do what they do. You know, I get Balrogs look so much cooler with wings than without wings, right? I mean, there is just no question that it is a visual upgrade. What's more, there's even a more abstract justification for it. Again, it's not a textual justification. I mean, it's a truly obvious thing that the Balrog in the text has no wings, but that's not the point. In a sense, you could argue that depicting a Balrog with wings is in one sense a more faithful adaptation than depicting him without. In the same sense that I think I'm thinking of the Stone of Erech in game, right? When they made the Stone of Erech in game, they knew full well that that was bigger, than the Stone of Erech in the book. Like, it's not like they weren't aware of that fact. They did that quite on purpose, knowing that that they were changing what was in the book. And the reason they did it is that if they were faithful in depicting the Stone of Erech exactly as Tolkien described it, it would be, in Chris Pearson's words, about the size of a coffee table. Which means you couldn't see it from a distance. And even when you got to, like, you'd have to practically stumble on it to even notice that it was there. And when you did, it would look a little bit, kind of weird, but it would not have the kind of impact. Am I going in circles? Am I twisting my way up? I can't even tell. I'm talking and walking at the same time. I think I am going in circles now. Where's the dude? Is he in a separate cave? Oh, there he is. Did I just miss him before? Did he not spawn? Okay, here we go. Hi, Captain of Fangs. I've been looking all over for you. Anyway, so by changing the Stone of Erech and making it huge, what they're doing is trying to remain true to the overall feel of the Stone of Erech in the text. Like, the feeling that you get from the Stone of Erech is that it is eerie, it is otherworldly. Like, you should get an uncanny feeling when looking at it, right? Like, you look at it and you're like, whoa, that doesn't fit here. That is like, is that even from our world? Did that fall from the sky, right? I mean, that's the question you should be asking yourself when you look at the Stone of Erech. And they felt that in order to achieve that that sense, they couldn't depict it just as it did. They had to make it bigger, and then it would have an effect, at least something like the effect that is described in the book. And I think that's fair. So in that moment, by deviating from the literal description given in the text, they actually manage to be sort of truer to the spirit of the text than they would have been by depicting it exactly as it appears. I think in that sense, depicting Balrogs with wings is potentially more true to the text than depicting them without wings, as they clearly do not have wings. But again, it's okay that when you look at a Balrog, you should say to yourself, this is a demon of the ancient world, right? And especially thinking of demons, the concept of the winged, the sort of bat-winged demon, that is such an iconic image in the modern imagination, that when you see a Balrog, a winged Balrog, rearing back with its wings spreading around and the horns on its head and stuff, it immediately gives you that, like, oh, it's a demon of the ancient world, right? I mean, it has that impact. I totally get why visual artists want to depict it that way. And in a sense, that's true to the text. Not literally true to the text, but it's true to the spirit of the text. So I think that in this way, this is why I don't object to visual depictions of Balrogs with wings, because, like, I get it, and it makes sense, and it even works in that sense. The only objection I get to is when people try to argue that the Balrog in Tolkien actually had wings, which is just a silly argument. Okay, so yeah, good. By the way, I don't think I mentioned the most recent mind-blowing moment in the War of the Ring class, my history of the Lord of the Rings series that we're doing in Mythgard Academy. The Stone of Erech. The Stone of Erech was originally a palantir. Not as it was depicted. That is, it's not to say that it was a big ol', 6-foot across palantir sitting in the ground. But the concept, like the phrase, the Stone of Erech, was referring not to a random big ol' stone that Isildur for some reason brought over from Numenor. It was referring to a palantir. So the Stone of Erech was a palantir. That's why, originally, that's the reason why Aragorn is going to Erech. Because when he looks in the palantir of Orthanc, one of the things he discovers is there are more palantiri around. And there's one at Erech. And I'm going. Because I want to go get that other palantir. So the Stone of Erech, the whole point of the Stone of Erech was that it was originally a palantir. And like I said, that kind of, that was kind of an amazing concept. Oh, a toolkit, huh? Let's see, that's not better than the pocket thing I'm already carrying. We get a necklace upgrade. Oh, I haven't upgraded my necklace in forever. Wow. Heavy furred Dunlanding cloak. Hang on, Goblin. I'm looking at my cloak. Oh, it's the bear cloak. It's the... Yeah, no, I don't want the Winnie the Pooh cloak. I'm fine. Goblin, just wait. Would you please, for a second? Here, I'm looking at things. You know what? I'm gonna stick with the necklace here.
Welcome. You have come at a most fortuitous
Talk to Daggerus. Okay, will do. Okay, hang on. There's a... Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, so no, I have not done the High Elf. In fact, not only have I not streamed the High Elf starting instance, I've not done it. I've not seen it yet. I'm saving it. I'm saving it. And I'm going to stream that from Mythmoot next month. So yeah, that's definitely going to be happening. Whew, what time is it? Oh, we still got time. Let's go back to Daggerus's camp. Thanks, Ondor. I think I finished all your quests now. That'd be handy. How far down to Daggerus? Okay, not too bad. All right. Good. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I've heard rumors about the High Elf intro. Like, I know generally kind of what it's about, but I have avoided any connection to it. I've not. Oh, I'm not supposed to go to his camp. I'm supposed to meet him up here. Sorry. Okay, good thing I didn't get all the way down there. Anyway, yeah. So I'm totally. I haven't looked at pictures. I haven't read the wiki. I've not done anything. So I'm trying to save myself from until I finally see. So like. Again, I've had a few spoilers. I kind of know vaguely, generally what it's about, but I'm excited. So anyway, yes. Oh, and no, we have not been able to get together. We were gonna schedule I was gonna go back down to the Standing Stone offices and do a stream, a Northern Mirkwood exploration stream. Whoop. Missed him. There he is, hiding behind a stump. But first, one of them were away, and then I was away, and we're still working on that. So that'll happen.
Your aid is welcome, friend.
Okay. All right. You have yet to find a way into Isengard unseen, but you spotted someone unusual. Okay.
Hail, friend.
One of Theodred's men, by Grimbold's command, is on his way to Parley. Ooh. Okay. And there are ambushers waiting for the emissary. Okay. Not sure I'm going to get all the way there. But, yeah. Have I played any on Wiggend recently? No. Sadly, I think that Wiggend is like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to find like moss growing on Wiggend. I have not been able to play at all for a long time. I mean, you guys will remember the announcements that I recently gave about Signum starting the state certification process and everything. So that's been very exciting, but enormously time consuming. And, you know, between that and, you know, my regular familial duties and, you know, of course, just everything else involved in Signum, I've been, yeah, I don't think I've played Lotro not on stream in like 3 months, sadly. So yeah, that's, so no, poor Wigand. Those who follow the Wigand streams will remember that Wigand was last seen at the doorway of the Paths of the Dead, and that's still where he is, sadly. Whoa. Sorry, just realized I was dying. Okay, no problem. I should probably pay some attention to my health. This, of course, is always one of the dangers of talking while I do stuff. All right, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to recover, and then I'm going to remember that I'm not a guardian. Yeah, so, sorry, Wigand, I hope we'll be back before too long. I really want to get into the Paths of the Dead. I'm really looking forward to exploring that. Gryfflet, of course, has continued to march ahead, so... yeah. Also, I have to admit, I kind of realize that I have, if I go down, where's the thing? Yeah, here we go. I kind of realize that I've sort of skipped Heathfells and Isendale, but I'm kind of tempted to carry on skipping them and continue on to the Great River, because, you know, I'll have to see. I will take stock. I will take stock and see if there are any storylines in there that I would be too... See, here's Curiana. Oh, come on. My stealthy order is a day late and $1 short there. That's all right. That's okay, Curiana. Totally not your fault, and I should be paying attention. And Gryfflet's over level here. Well, I guess he's not. He's on level here for non-Curunír. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying about Heathfells and Isendale. Yeah, so I'll go and see if there are any storylines in there that I absolutely can't do without. But unless there are some storylines that I totally can't do without, I think I'm going to continue on following the epic quest line and go to the next area, because I've been in Dunland for a long time. It's been like a year that Gryfflet has been in Dunland at this point. I think he's ready for his next adventure, and I'm excited to move on and talk about the Great River, do some fun Great River stuff, and then move on down into Rohan. I mean, as it is, I'm gonna have to level freeze Gryfflet like through all of the Great River, I suspect. So, all right. Oh, hey, we're almost done. Will Gryfflet be able to resist the Hitbold quest line in Rohan? Oh yeah. No, don't worry. Resistance will not be hard. The only one for whom the resistance is difficult is the alt of mine who is trying to do the completionist Rohan. I mean, he's in despair, so nothing I can do there. It's my lore master. Yeah, it's a tough life. Tough life being a completionist in Rohan. Okay. All right. Boy, yeah, these ambushers were really getting ready to cause some trouble for that emissary. Okay. Good, okay. Oh boy, ton of ambushers here. Would you knock off the whole running away thing? Nobody wants the running away thing. Good. Oh, am I doing the Isengard instances? Yeah. No. Yes. I will do the Isengard instances. And actually, I've never done the Isengard instances. Because I only completed Isengard. I've only completed Isengard with Gryfflet and with Wigand. And with my one completionist alt, but I couldn't do those, so I ended up skipping because I was soloing, and they're all big. Okay. Phew. So yeah, no, so I ended up skipping all those, so I don't think I've ever done them, actually. So yes, I would be interested to do some of those. All right. Okay, Daggeroth.
Your aid is welcome, friend.
Okay, it appears Grimbold's men should make it through to Isengard, but he will face his man, right? But he will face a far greater danger when he approaches the gate. Okay, Saruman's voice has the power to bewitch those who hear it. I've heard that too. Okay, that's it.
Greetings.
Oh, okay.
You have a moment.
I have to escort him. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm good at that. Woodsman's supple leggings. Okay. That's fine. All right. I will do the Gates of Isengard instance next time. Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. So we are come to the end of our time. Now, next week, I will be here. So I will be here next week. I will be gone the week after that. I'll be traveling. I'm going to be down in Charlotte, North Carolina, the week after next. So that's the, what is it, the 15th? 15th I'll be in Charlotte. So I won't be able to stream on the 15th. On the 22nd is Mythmoot. So I won't be streaming at my normal time at Mythmoot either. However, during Mythmoot, we will have at least one bonus stream. That is, I say at least one, because we're definitely planning to do a scheduled event. So we'll do that like we did. Remember we did Bells of Dale last year? And that was really fun because I not only was able to kind of streamed it with a live audience. So, we were able to interact with the live audience at the same time that we were interacting with you guys over Twitch. That was really fun. So, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to do the high elf intro. This time I'm going to create my high elf character. Anyway, yeah, so that will be happening. So it won't be in my normal slot, but that will be happening sometime that weekend. I will make sure that I let you guys know when that's going to be. And who knows, maybe we'll do another bonus stream at some point. That, there will definitely be some more Lotro stuff going on that weekend at Mythmoot. So maybe we'll even get a chance to do another thing at a different time. We'll see. But anyway, all right. So thanks everybody. I will see you next week. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.